All right, there we go. I wish I could just have it to where I could sing like under the scope or something like that. But thanks everybody for joining me. My name is, I wanted to take this time out to introduce myself because I've been doing this show like I think for almost a month now, and I've never taken time out to say who I am. And I'll go into introducing the person. So I'm Kimberlon B. Some of you know me as Kim. Some of you know me as Deshauna K. On Facebook, I'm Deshaun K. I mean, you name it, that's who I am. I always say you can call me any name, just don't call me late to dinner, okay? And so I'm a daughter, I'm a wife, I'm a grandmother of 10. And as a matter of fact, we're in the birthday months right now for all 10 grandchildren. So it's August, September. Um, October, November, December, January, and then I get a break. And then there's April and May. I'm also a licensed professional counselor. I'm licensed in the state of Arizona, and I'm a mental health advocate. I love talking about mental health. That's my purpose. I like to get that word out. I'm also an author. I wrote a book. I'm going to finally say it to everyone. Flip Your Life. I know most of you know it's a children's book to help children learn about God and how to build their relationship with God using car parts. A very unique book. It's available on my website, www.kimberlonbarnes.com. If you go to Amazon, they got a book out there that's an outrageous price. So don't go get it from there. I don't know what's going on with that. All right. And I'm also the host of Under the Scope. And I know people are probably wondering how in the world did you get the name Under the Scope? To be completely honest with you, Focus Living Counseling, that's the name that God gave to me. That's the name of the counseling business. When I get to that season, I'm going to actually launch. But I decided to launch Under the Scope right now because I've always wanted to do a show, always, always, always. But anxiety set in, then anxiety set in, then the coronavirus set in, then anxiety set in. And so I started out with an online book study. And then before you know it, I moved into the show because I started reaching out to people to say, can you come on my little scopecast and talk about this and this and this? And people started saying yes. And I've learned that when you walk in your purpose or when you're supposed to do, you get yeses, yeses, yeses. And I'm actually booked. I thank God. I'm starting to book for January 2021, and I didn't think I would even get that far. So I'm excited about that and excited to see what's going to come in 2021 because most of us have already marked this year off saying 2020 is this. Can we take it off the calendar? Can I get my money back for my planner? But it's like no, so much stuff has happened since we sat down in this time. And I hope that season was the same for all of you that's joining me today, that something birthed out of this season. I think God had to like set us down so he could work on us. And I was excited. So Under the Scope is my scope cast. And I call it a scope pass because it's not, sorry, I'm still letting people in. It's not like a Facebook Live. It's like in between a Facebook Live and a podcast because I like to do it here in Zoom because it gives you an opportunity to ask people questions that come on here. We're on here Saturdays. So far it's at 1. I'm thinking mid-October I'll move it up because I know it's cooler here in Phoenix and we like to get out and about and enjoy the coolness. So I'll let everybody know and give everybody plenty enough time to move up. All right, so mental health. Why mental health? Why am I so gung ho on mental health besides being a licensed professional counselor? Is because that mental health is just as important as physical health. I said it before and I will say it again. And last week I had Dr. Lulu on the show, and Dr. Lulu was amazing. I will have that show posted soon on YouTube. I'm trying to fix my channel up and make it pretty. But Dr. Lulu was phenomenal in the way she broke it down. She said, when I asked her about mental health, she talked about health being like health as a whole. So it's 50% mental and 50% physical. So we're going to get to the segment. I promise we're going to get to the good part. This is the appetizer, and we go into the entree. Um, so if you think about it with physical health, we are more vocal when we talk about our physical health. So if you're if you're at the gym, I mean, if you need to lose a little weight, you can be like, girl, or however you want to talk, I need to lose some weight, or, I need to knock some of this weight off, or I need to do something with my, my hair, or I feel sick. We talk about how we feel sick, and people can see that you feel sick, and we can give those solutions like, oh, yeah, I'm sick, and all of this. Yeah, I'm going to take meds. I'm going to do all of this. I'm going to lay down. I'm going to rest. So we talk about that when it comes to physical health. However, when it comes to the other half, which is the 50%, the mental health, how many of y'all know that's not an easy topic to talk about? I don't feel comfortable with saying, if somebody, hey girl, how you doing? You don't look good. I may just, oh, I'm a little tired. We've made it to where we can't say, I have depression, I have anxiety, I cried all night, I'm not comfortable in the skin I'm in. 2 weeks ago, I thought about taking my life. I feel worthless. And we don't like to talk about the solutions. If somebody say, if you feel that way, why don't you go talk to someone? I'm not going to talk to anyone. I mean, they can't help me. Some of us are ashamed to talk to somebody, maybe because of race, culture, or whatever. And so it's just getting out there, knocking down those barriers to let everybody know it's okay. So now we're in a season to where, yeah, mental health has made it in the limelight during this pandemic. So we're a little bit more comfortable, and I'm not trying to knock it down, to where we can say we have anxiety. We can say we have depression. We can say, I think I need to go see somebody. Or we can even say, I think, it's okay to see Jesus and the therapist. I know, I say it all the time, and when I'm on Pastor Dre's show, we talk about that. But will we do it? That's the thing. How comfortable are we doing it, addressing our mental health issues? So that's why I brought this show, because I want everyone to see influential people that's in the community, actually in the nation, that has their own talent, skills, abilities coming into this platform to share with anybody. And the most important thing that I like about it is because they also have a stand when it comes to mental health. And any one of you, honestly, are welcome to come to my show, because you all, even being here, are influential people to me. And everyone has a purpose that God gave them to bring to whatever platform. And I know it would impact mental health, because we know mental health is widespread. It's not something that's just in a box. So today I wanted to bring a segment, and I wanted to do it myself. I wanted to get out of it too. So through this, I have to just give everybody a disclaimer. I'm super transparent, so forgive me if I say something in advance, but today is August the 29th. And next month, of course, September, but September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And I know during that month, since we're in this pandemic, you'll probably get a lot of information about it. As a matter of fact, and under the scope, we'll touch on it. That won't be our main topic. But then, yeah, we will just touch on it. That won't be our main topic. But today, I want to bring to light for us to talk about self-compassion, especially now. Because I think when we talk about suicide prevention, for us to talk about self-compassion, prayerfully, hopefully that can get us on the right track. And before I go on, I want to say all the information on this show is for conversational, educational, inspirational purposes. And it does not replace you seeking a higher level of care if you need it. This is a no judgment zone. Say what you want to say, how you want to say it, as long as it's not disrespectful. And that means disrespecting people. And just know we're together all in this platform. So everyone comes from different walks of life. And so let's not, look down on one and look down on another. And I encourage people, one, to use the chat feature. if you want to ask me questions, and I'll answer those questions at the end. So I think I've covered everything. So let's go ahead and get the party started talking about self-compassion. And hopefully this part of talking about self-compassion won't be too triggering. But I want to open it up today because I'm here by myself. And if I have to talk, you're going to have to talk. I need 3 people to tell me in 5 words or less, what is a statement that comes to your mind when I say self-compassion? 3 people. Yes, Choice.
Taking care of myself.
Taking care of yourself. A second person? Anyone?
My husband says loving yourself.
Loving yourself. Okay. Thank you. Number 3. Don't get quiet on me now. Number 3.
Not being so hard on yourself.
Not being so hard on yourself. Okay. All right. I like that. So we're going to actually take a quiz right now. And I put in the event about bringing pen and paper. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. I'm going to ask some questions, and I want you to answer the questions to yourself, either true or false, right? And this is a quiz about, or an assessment with self-compassion to help us just bring it on in. Number 1, when I fail at something important to me, do I become consumed with feelings of inadequacy? Number 2, I try to be understanding and patient towards those aspects of my personality that I don't like. 3, when something painful happens, I try to take a balanced view of the situation. 4, when I'm feeling down, I tend to feel like most people are probably happier than I am. 5, I try to see my failings as a part of the human condition. It's just 7 more to go, y'all. We almost there. 6, when I'm going through a very hard time, I give myself the caring and tenderness I need. 7, when something upsets me, I try to keep my emotions in balance. 8, when I fail at something that's important to me, I tend to feel alone in my failures. 9, when I'm feeling down, I tend to obsess and fixate on everything that's wrong. And that's with me. And 10, when I feel inadequate in some way, I try to remind myself that the feelings of inadequacy are shared by most people. Or do I just isolate that? 11, I'm disapproving and judgmental about my my own flaws and inadequacies. And the last one is I'm intolerant and impatient towards those of my personality I don't like. So looking back over those questions, not sure how you scored, but I purposely gave everyone that pre-test before I went into what the definition of self-compassion, because I didn't want anyone to make up their answers, make up either figuratively or literally make them up, means hide behind them, make them look cute. After we've gone through the description, I wanted everyone to take a good, honest look at themselves, because believe it or not, for most people, this is really hard to do, is to take a look at ourselves. If somebody else is going through something, whether it's a sister or a brother or somebody like that, we can give them words to keep them going. But when it comes to us, it's like, no, I should have known better. Why do I always mess up? And then we can go into the spiral on ourselves. So Self-compassion. What is self-compassion anyway? Thank everyone for giving those answers. All right, so having compassion for oneself is really no different than having compassion for others, like I was just mentioning before. Oh, okay. Like I was just mentioning before. Think about what that experience of compassion feels like if you know somebody that's going through something and you can just feel how they feel. And you really there, you're supportive. Hopefully you are supportive. First, to have compassion for others, you must notice that they are suffering. And I like to break this down with the word suffering, and whether it's physical suffering or mental suffering. So pain is if we talk about pain and we're talking about the physical pain, we're talking about if I fall and get an owie or something like that, and we can feel that pain. Pain is if somebody's wronged us. So that is the event. But when it comes to suffering, suffering is that long effect that happens after that pain. And we can actually do something with that pain. But most of the time, we're so consumed by what happened to us and we're consumed by that event. Why? Because we're human. That's why we're consumed by that event. But if we would look at that suffering and move into a place of acceptance, like that happened, and it doesn't mean that you're glad that happened. Oh my gosh, this is great. No, that means accept that it happened. So then you can deal with that head on. So you have to notice that other people may be suffering. So if Miss or Mr. or whoever is acting a different way, I'm gonna leave them alone because they tripping. They may actually be suffering and we don't even know. We think they're just giving us an attitude. So we have to look into that to figure out, is somebody suffering with something, whatever pain that may look like. Second, compassion involves feeling moved by others' suffering, so that your heart responds to their pain. So the word compassion, and it says right here, literally means suffer with. When this occurs, it says you feel warm, you feel caring, and the desire to help the suffering person in some way. Having compassion also means that you offer an understanding and kindness to others when they fail and make a mistake, rather than just judging them off the muscle. And then finally, when you feel compassion for another rather than mere pity, it means that you realize that the suffering, failure, and imperfection is part of a shared human experience. So if we think about that, it's a shared human experience. None of us is perfect. We've talked about it. Everybody talked about it in church before. God's the only one that's perfect. So just realize that it's a shared experience amongst everyone. Okay. So self-compassion. So now we've talked about what compassion means. Now let's talk about self-compassion. Okay. It's really no different, right? It involves acting the same way towards you. The same way you would come alongside sister so-and-so, brother so-and-so, there for your kids. The same way you are that ride and die for your friends, your boo, whoever, the mama that I think Dr. Lulu talked about it last week, taking them earrings off. The same way we go to war for others. That's what we have to do for us. That's what we have to give us. And so the question I have to ask you before I even move on and go into the definition of self-compassion is, instead of mercilessly judging and criticizing yourself, I do this too, let me just be transparent, for various inadequacies or shortcomings, self-compassion means you are kind and understanding when confronted with personal failings. After all, who said you were supposed to be perfect? So we have to think about that. Who said that? What if you were told that you were supposed to be perfect? What about during your upbringing? Because there's some people that brought home a C. And your parents, the first thing they say to you is, you could have brought home a B. You could have brought home an A. So that bar is just being raised and raised and raised and raised to the point that you can't even reach it. And as you get older, that bar is raised. If I turn in a report, I should have turned in 2. If I got an executive job, I should be owning my own company. You get into a place where there's never enough. And in the middle of that, let's go back to the point of suffering. We go back to that suffering piece. And here we go. And we're back on that spiral. And that will cause us to not love ourselves and not feel comfortable in our skin. So there's a book, Self-Compassion, and it's written by Dr. Kristen Neff. And I want to read her description to you word from word. It says, self-compassion entails being warm and understanding towards oneself. One. So you want to point at yourself, one. I didn't say to that person over there, you. Okay? And it says, when encountering suffering, inadequacy, or failure, rather than ignoring one's, again, that's you, pain. And it says, flagellating oneself with self-criticism. Self-compassionate people recognize that being imperfect, failing, and experiencing life difficulties is inevitable. We can't avoid it. We can't. It's going to happen. So they tend to be gentle with themselves when confronted with painful experiences, rather than getting angry when life falls short of set ideas. People cannot always be or get exactly what they want. And when this reality is denied or fought against, suffering increases, just like I talked about, in the form of stress. How many of us has been there? Frustration. Oh yeah, it can be real frustrating. Or self-criticism. When this reality is accepted with sympathy and kindness, greater emotional, overall emotional experience happens. If we can get to that place. When something happens in our life, not sure about you all, so I'll talk about me. I'll point the finger at me. When I do something that I perceive as wrong, or I have failed, or I feel like I'm inadequate, I go into this place of self-criticism. Oh my gosh, you can't do nothing right. They don't want you around. I get on this bandwagon and I will ride that thing until the wheels fall off. And before you know it, I will come home, go upstairs and get in my bed, and I will lay there and I will withdraw. I will not talk to anyone. I will not answer the phone, and I will sit in that type of criticism. But yet, if I'm doing my thing and like doing this show, somebody says something about the book, or somebody says something about the beautiful pictures that Miss Jules Apparel took that I put on Facebook, or anything like that. Oh, I don't take that well. I'm like, oh, get out of here. Oh, you don't mean that. Oh, I'm not, no, I'm not beautiful. But then let someone say something bad about me. I will take that and hold on to that and cherish that. So that's why I'm talking about self-compassion, but we're going to move forward, because there's things I want you to know what self-compassion is not. Self-compassion is not self-pity. So it's not, remember we said gentle and kindness. We didn't say, oh my gosh, I can't do nothing right. Oh, woe is me. And then everybody else feels us, right? It's not everybody else's job to fill us, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Self-compassion is not self-indulgence. It doesn't mean when I'm feeling some kind of way, I can go, no offense if somebody does, is go eat a whole gallon of ice cream or go shop like I'm crazy. That's not self-compassion. And here's the biggest one that some people mix up. Self-compassion is not self-esteem. And there's been research that I've done that most people want us to focus on self-compassion as opposed to self-esteem, because self-esteem is, sorry, I'm still letting people in. Self-esteem is worth, value. how I value myself. And when we talk about self-compassion is how I love myself, how I accept myself. So there's a difference. So we know self-esteem is by worth, but if we don't love ourselves, what do you think your self-esteem is going to be? It's going to be down here too. But then quite the opposite, if your self-esteem is high, super high, I mean, do you, just think that can impact how your self-compassion too. Because if I got this super high, I mean, outrageous self-esteem, not self-esteem, but if it's super high, I'm not going to be compassionate to others. I'm probably going to be so self-absorbed in me, self-absorbed, that I don't see anyone else. And so that can cause us problems as well. All right, so I have a question for everyone before I move on. What do you think are the barriers to self-compassion? Anyone? Anyone? Yes? Did somebody raise their hand?
Comparing yourself to other people.
Comparing, oh gosh, yes. Comparing yourself to other people. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. That is a huge one. Anyone else? What are the barriers?
Allowing fear to cripple you.
Allowing fear to cripple you. Yes. Yes. Fear. Yes. Cassandra got her hand up. Joyce, I'll come your way.
Yeah, I think that when we remember our past, maybe things that happened to us in the past, that can very much so be barriers.
Yeah. The past for sure. Past traumas and everything else. Yes. Joyce?
Overthinking.
Ooh, overthinking. Yes, that's huge. Our mind, they say the mind is a terrible thing to waste. And we can't waste our mind on thinking about different things.
That was Bobby's answer.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Bobby. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, I was gonna say personally for me, my barrier is worrying too much about my kids, and I just lose focus on myself a lot.
Yes. And that's so easy to do, Rebecca. That is so easy to do. And the next part we're going to go to will answer another importance about self-compassion. Did anybody else want to say anything? Okay, y'all don't look at my screen. Can everybody see that? It's small. Can everybody see this graph right here? Yes? So
Yes.
when it comes to self-compassion, it's on my other screen, so I'm looking over here for a second. And Rebecca brought up a good point, and okay. And this is a point that I wanted to chat about. Self-compassion, I like to give the example of us being the 100% whole person. And I know, not sure if some of you have heard, like in businesses, about the 80-20 rule, the principle, the 80-20 principle. I like to take this home and bring it back in when it comes to self-compassion. So I have this screen. I don't know how small it is. Let me see. It's small. Okay. So this is us as the whole person. We're 100% us. 80% of others can love us. So somebody can only love you 80% of your wholeness, right? Whether it's our husband, our kids, or whoever else that may love you. 80%, hang on. But this 20% right here, this is a part that you have to feel with that self-compassion. You have to love yourself. Nobody can feel this part for you at all. So I don't care how much someone loves you right here in this 80%. If you don't love you or identify what are those barriers that are preventing you from having that self-compassion, this part would never be complete. So we're merely be like the Pac-Man. So today we're What do I need to do about this 20% for me? So I can be accepting of this 80% from others. Because like some of the answers that Rebecca gave, Cassandra gave, and everybody else choice, everybody else gave, if I have this barrier right here and someone's showing me this much love, I may miss it. I may even sabotage relationships. I may not even recognize healthy relationships from unhealthy relationships. I won't have that place of wholeness. So no matter how much we have the best husband, best wife, best children, best whatever, if I don't feel this peace and identify those barriers and feel this peace with love in me, I will not feel whole or happy. Now, again, I know, most of us on here go to church and we're believers, so I'm not saying that God's not doing his job. I'm just coming from the place of mental health. But hey, let me go there since I brought that up. If we don't love ourselves, God is in this 80% too. We have to be at a place that we can let him in, right? We have to be at a place that we can let him in. If we got a barrier in a way where we don't think we're good enough, some of the answers that we gave earlier, I keep messing up. I don't think God loves me. I don't think anybody loves me. We are impacting our own 20%. We're impacting it. So identifying those barriers are important. Hang on, y'all. I'm still letting people in. Hang on. Okay. All right, everybody, now I'm back. Wait, I'm still letting people in. Okay, so let me see. All right, let me make sure I covered everything, everyone. So then my next part actually comes to looking back at that 20% again. And how we can feel it and how we can identify those barriers. Us going back to the place where we can look at those barriers head on. What are those barriers? Are those that trauma that we've been trying to get rid of, that we've been trying to, I'm going to say pray away, not discounting the point of prayer, but I mean actually pray away. But then we're not really releasing it to God. So let me just say, and some of us don't know how to release it. Some of us have been told you better just keep it to yourself. But haven't you noticed that whatever those barriers are, they don't go anywhere? And the interesting thing about them, it doesn't matter how much older we get, they're still there. We get older, they grow with us. It's not like it goes away. It just grows and grows and grows, and it hinders us over and over and over again. So how does self-compassion play into mental health? It does. So that lack of self-compassion, if you think about it, we talk depression. I don't love me. I don't know if somebody can love me. Anxiety, stress, suicidal idolization, thoughts that my family would be better off with me. Missing compliments when people are trying to compliment you and lift you up and get you through. It can actually hinder us. So identifying those barriers is important to work on and attack. Look at them straight on. It does hurt. Dr. K was on the show. She talked about healing hurts. But let me tell you something. You're hurting anyway with it. And you're hiding, but you can only hide so much with this hurt. We miss out so much without this self-compassion. So no matter how many pookies and nays we have, we still need to fill in that 20%. And it's real important that we do. Let me see. So what time is it? Oh, 1:37. All right, sorry, I was looking at my clock because I want to give people time to ask a question or to even share. So without just, beating the horse over and over again. Again, so, September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, but I believe us focusing on our self-compassion. Oh, I got to throw something in with that. Focus on loving ourselves. Let's take this time out to work on that 20%. Doesn't matter how good of a person we are. If we're not working on that 20%, they may see it, but we won't feel it or we won't see it. So I want to encourage everyone today. And self-compassion, before I move on and open the floor, does not mean selfish. It does not mean you don't care about anybody. It does not mean, why am I going to put myself for, it's not for us to beat ourselves up. Self-compassion is love for ourselves. Think about again how we come alongside someone else. This is the love we have for ourselves. Not selfish, selves. We could get the glory, the happiness, and everything else. So next time you encounter any thoughts of failures, inadequacies, or self-criticism, just say, no, it's okay. I'm not perfect. And take that and work on that with every flaw, with every inadequacy, with whatever is out there. There's always a lesson in there to help us. I made a mistake. I'm human. Remember, it's a shared human experience. Before we go on and I open the floor, it's a shared human experience. It's okay to have Jesus and a therapist too. Go to therapy if you don't have anyone to talk about. To share before I open up the floor, this week has been the hardest week for me. I didn't even share this with Joy. She's probably going to get me. I had so much anxiety this week. It was crazy. And this is me being a licensed professional counselor and somebody that read, researched, and prepared. I had so much anxiety this week. And then I went from having too much to going all the way down to the point I almost, and I kid you not, almost thought I would be better off not here. And this is the first time I've actually encountered that. If I can just be open right here, that's why I like this setting right here, so I can be open and real. So I actually contacted my doctor, and I talked to my doctor, and I take psych meds. And I'll tell anybody, I take medicine for anxiety because my anxiety is through the roof. And it's easy for us to say, pray, because I do pray. But if I'm I was so anxious, I couldn't even pray. I thought I was going to die. I didn't tell anybody because I'm ashamed. Because I'm like, you're getting ready to talk about self-compassion and you're talking about even entertaining a thought about harming yourself and don't even know why. So if I had to talk to somebody, what would I say to them? I feel this way. I don't know what I would actually say. But he increased my medicine and he told me I need to go back and see my therapist. I do have a therapist, and I'll see my therapist. I need to increase the frequencies of seeing my therapist. But it's that self-compassion. I need to take care of that. I need to take care of me while I'm taking care of others. And me hearing people's story Monday through Saturday, because I do counseling 6 days a week. And I do some of everything. I have to take care of me. And I'm just opening myself up to everyone to let you know that, yes, I struggle too. I struggle hardcore with anxiety. And so I'm working on it. But it's a part of me now being able to, surrounded with awesome people, that I'm able to start to look at myself and love myself. They taught me to love me. Thank you, Joy. They taught me to love me. And it wasn't me being on this side, CBT and DBT. No, they taught me to love myself. And it wasn't even me going into a place of self-pity. They like, you got to get over that. You got to do this and that. So I really thank them. But so it's 1:42, and everybody work on your 20%. I'm speaking wholeness over this group. So I will open the floor to questions. Anyone?
I have a question. This is Sade speaking.
Uh-huh.
So what is something practical that you can recommend to somebody that just may be struggling with self-doubt, overly critical of themselves, and really just having a lack of compassion for themselves? What's something like very practical, very tangible would you recommend?
What I like to tell people to start out with is, I mean, if they, if they have faith to pray, use prayer, of course. But I like affirmations. I encourage people to Google affirmations. I'm a Pinterest fan. You can find affirmations on Pinterest. So, and it's just something as simple as I am enough, and actually saying those things. And I even challenge people. Yes, I need to challenge myself, but I even challenge people to actually go in front of their mirrors and say say those affirmations. They got affirmations for everything. When you're going into a job, when, to be happy, to be free. They got all kinds of affirmations. So with self-doubt, you can go find examples, positive affirmations, and say them. Write them down, put them on go get a little whiteboard at a Dollar Tree, and you can set that by your bed, or the chalk one, and you can write something on there. So when you get up in the morning, taking that extra 1 to 2 minutes to sit there and stare at that and say that in your head, I am enough. I am worthy. I can do all things, okay? Really, all things. Whatever you need to look at to help you through. So I say easy, practical, positive affirmations, meditations. Thanks, Sade. Anyone else?
Hi, this is Gina.
Hi, Gina.
I think it's real important to let others know that you're not perfect, and that starts at home. Um,
Mhm.
Showing your children that I'm not Superwoman. That cape is not in the closet. I do fail at some things. I don't always hold it together. Then as they get older, maybe that would help them to accept their imperfections.
That is so true. That is so true, Gina. I actually told a client that once, because she's like, I got to be strong for my child. I got to be strong for my daughter. And I'm like, you have to be strong, but then you're popping off and you're going off, and they see that you're angry, or they see that you're sad. And it's like, you can go ahead and cry and be vulnerable in front of them. Thank you for sharing that. All right, Rebecca, I see you, and then Cassandra. Rebecca?
I didn't want to say anything. I don't know what happened, but I guess I could. So my question would be, because I'm afraid of getting back on medication, and I just start.
Why are you afraid, Rebecca? If you don't mind me asking, or we can talk offline too, if you don't feel comfortable.
I'd rather talk offline.
Okay, I can call you after we get off. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right, I'll call you. All right. Cassandra, was that your hand up from last time, or is that a new raised hand?
Yeah, I think it just happened to raise. I don't know what that was about.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions or anything else they'd like to share? Joyce, I see you.
I always have something to say, don't I?
I
But
love it.
anyway, so it's not easy when you are around a lot of negative people, and you feel like every time that you step into the room, it's always something negative, in that it feels like it's going toward you, and it really may not be going toward you. So how would you deal with a situation like that? And I know I've experienced some trauma, that a couple that's very heartfelt traumas, and then just getting to a point from that place of being that 12-year-old trauma and making it through adulthood, and just loving myself. You know what I mean? So how do you deal with that? With the
So
negativity? Yeah.
With the negativity that you're telling yourself or negativity from
That you
others?
feel from others.
Okay. So is it 100% negativity, or do you think it's tapping into that, what happened to you?
It could be. It's possible. It could look the same. So yes, it's possible. Because if you,
Yeah.
it can look the same. Because if you experienced it once and then you see it again, and then you know, it's like it's a repeating cycle. So that's what you see. So yeah.
Right. Well, I'm glad you brought that up. I encourage people when they can't figure out if it's them or is it me or like what's going on with me, to actually keep a journal. It's a thought, emotions, and behavior journal. So if someone says something to me, then what is my thought? What is my first thought? And then the next thing I would write under emotions is how does that make me feel? And then the behavior. And see if you start to notice a pattern.
How do you do that with a 15-year-old?
Give them an app. Give them an app. Maybe. No. Okay.
That's why, you know. How do you do that with a teenager?
Same way.
Same way?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll talk to you about it. Hi, Stacy. I can't hear you. Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
now.
There
Okay.
you go.
Hi, I'm so proud of you for sharing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And everyone that's here, I don't know what I'm doing. I clicked. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We just can't see you.
Okay, because I don't know. Okay. So I just wanted to say I agree with you that affirmations work really well.
Mm-hmm.
Because starting out in the morning, my favorite song, and I'll share it with you and you can give it to people. I know everybody doesn't like the same kind of music, but I found a song that really lifts me up, and I listen to that every day before I start my day.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because I know that song is speaking to my soul and giving me the positive vibes that I need to overrule any negative vibes that come at me during the day.
Okay.
So I just want to share because at one time in my life, you know, I had that same kind of, it's just, I think it's because we're women and we have hormones that run rapid, different times of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so just know that it's not always, when you feel the negativity, just know that it's sometimes it's just hormones. And sometimes, you know, if you start writing, like what you mentioned earlier, journaling, you start noticing a pattern. It's starting to happen like right before our monthly cycle or right before some stressful thing or something like that. You start feeling all the anxiety. But thank you so much for letting us all know that we're not alone. At one time I was going to give up. I was like, I'm done. I had took all my kids to each their own set of grandparents and I was done. I was going to jump off a bridge. This was 25 years ago, but I looked over the bridge and I was like, no, Jesus didn't say that this was the answer. He said, if I trust in him. And so when you say you trust in God, it's not necessarily just trusting in everything that he can do. It's everything that he taught us to do, which is to, like you said, have compassion, not only for others, but for ourselves too. Have forgiveness, not only for others, but forgive ourselves too. You know, have love, not just for others, but love for ourselves too. So thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. Next month we're actually talking about forgiveness during the month of September as well. So yeah, it's going to be some pretty deep topics coming up. So yeah, I was looking. Anyone else have any questions or anything else they want to share?
Hi,
Hi,
this
Ardell.
Ardell.
Yes.
Yes, she never mentioned a song.
Oh, Stacy. She has her own song too. She didn't tell anybody.
I
But
have
what is the song?
well, I mean, everybody doesn't listen to the same type of music, so it's a Christian rap.
Okay,
And
that's okay.
and it's called Determination Focus. And it's what I
Okay.
repeat is actually the words that I repeated to myself over and over again over the years. It was written actually 25 years ago, but I just now released it this year, this last May. So, yeah. So, but it's called Determination Focus. It's on YouTube.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing.
Yes.
Can I add something?
Uh-huh.
And I think a lot of it has to do with family values as well. You can it doesn't mean that everything in your family is bad, but I believe in family values, the way you was raised, the way you was brought up. But I also learned too, you can still raise a person right, but yet it's still their journey, what they do, and hopefully that they will make those good decisions from those family values, and that's hard too. So you teach, hey, you got to love yourself, think of yourself first. And I try to tell that to my grandson. You need to put yourself first and see what it's like before you do that. So hopefully by instilling those in him, that as he gets older, he will remember those things and take those things to heart. So, so that's what I wanted to say. So think about your family values as well. Not everyone was raised the same.
Right.
But you got to show that love, you still got to show that love and teach that love.
Yes. Thank you. Anyone else before we get ready to close out? I'm getting ready to call on somebody if no one else has any comments to say. Because after me is Sherry. Show your face, Sherry. I like to give plug-ins. It's all about support. It is all about support. Glasses, Cocoa Image, Glam Gloss Kiss. Sherry, I see you. I see Sherry's on here. I don't see her.
It's me. Sorry, she's in the bathroom.
It's Brittany, y'all. It's her daughter. Okay, yeah. She's getting ready.
Yeah.
She's getting ready. Okay,
yep.
Everyone after me, Sherry Brown, she's on here.
Oh, no, she has your book.
And I have her book. She's doing her book launch after me today. It's at 2:00, right?
Yes.
2:00 today. Can we get there? There she go, y'all. There she is.
Congratulations, Sherry.
I know. I've been listening to her. Hey. I said, Kim on there preaching today.
I wanted, did you want to invite everybody to your book launch that's after this?
Yes, absolutely. At 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time in exactly 5 minutes on Facebook Live. And it will be under Sherry Brown. So it's public, open to everyone. So you can just go on there and the video will be live streaming. We won't be long. It'll be like 20, 30 minutes. I just want to give some gratitude and show some love. That's it.
Where we get your book at? Where we get your book at?
Oh, my book. Sorry. You can either go to the website, which is winningwomanlifestyle.com, or you can go on Amazon.com and purchase the book. Yep.
She'll be on soon. I'll see you. I'm coming your way.
Thank you. Thanks for your support, Kim. Love you.
You love you too, Sade. Sade. I'm calling on you, Sade. I know she's not going to show her face, y'all.
Oh, I'm here. I'm right here.
Talk to us about your book. Uh-oh. Books. I know I put you on the spot.
Yes, you did. I just recently published 3 books that are under the Math Learning series. It's called What Color is My Math? Learning the ABCs in My Math and Counting in My Math from numbers 1 to 10. They are children's books just designed to help young children, toddlers, and even babies get comfortable with wearing masks or face coverings, and especially in the context of learning. And so you can find that on Amazon.com as well.
Awesome. Awesome. So these people will be on here. Thank you, Stacy. Stacy put her song off in the chat. So, all right, everyone. So it's been real. It's been Under the Scope. I want to see you all next Saturday, 1 p.m. September is going to be like all the way live. It's been live so far, and it's going to get even better. So everyone, Under the Scope. where good tea and good reads are welcome. See you. Bye. Love everyone. Thanks for coming, everyone. Thanks for coming,
You're
Miss
welcome.
Ann. I see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care. Bye, everyone. Bye, Miss Ardell. Thanks for coming. Bye, Miss Ann.
Bye, Kim.
Bye. Love you. Thanks for coming.
Oh, you're welcome. Awesome show.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Love you.
Love
Bye-bye.
you too. Bye. Hey, Rebecca.